cryptocurrency justified the expense to build something that no one would otherwise build. These things can run 24/7, making cryptocurrency. It's amazing. That's the modern miracle.
We want to grow 10 times larger than we are now, and we can do it here, or we can do it somewhere, but we're going to do it. Because at the end of the day, smart money always wins. This area can be the new Silicon Valley.
The cryptocurrency soared to nearly $20,000.
One of the biggest names in Silicon Valley is reportedly placing a big bet on a popular digital currency.
So you are the youngest Bitcoin millionaire. How does that feel?
It feels pretty great. Not too bad for 19.
We all know that cryptocurrencies are the world's newest asset. Every single day there is a crypto conference somewhere on the planet. Today, it's in Atlantic City.
There are so many possibilities.
Not bad, not bad.
At conferences like this, fans and industry converge to explore the possibilities of cryptocurrencies. Everything from buying groceries to replacing the banking industry.
So this is my first Bitcoin wallet.
Oh,
And I got my
scan it and send money to him.
So I live off of Bitcoin. It pays my rent. I book my flights with cheapair.com. They accept Bitcoin Dash, all kinds of cryptocurrencies. I book my rooms with BitPay with my Visa card. My Lyft driver accepts BitPay, that's Bitcoin. So I'm all in. I use Bitcoin in every aspect of my life.
Can I check it out?
Please.
Let's see.
So this other platform that we have developed allows you to do multi-currency mining.
So your idea is to get more people inside your game so that they use your mining machines.
Yeah, the
Okay.
gamer.
And why is mining something you've gotten into? Why is it important to you?
To me, mining and the possibility of creating additional sources of income, passive income, is quite interesting from an investment standpoint.
Boom!
This device uses the hardware of a gaming computer to also mine cryptocurrencies. Mining, the process of making digital currency, is leading to a gold rush around the world.
I'm driving into a small town about 3 hours east of Seattle called Wenatchee, and as its apple-shaped sign shows, it's known as the apple capital of the world. There are rolling hills of apple orchards here because it's been a huge industry.
With an economy tied to a stable fruit industry, Wenatchee has a slow pace of life, and the 40,000 who call it home have seen little change here over the years. But recently, a new industry began surfacing, and the changes came quickly.
All right, so this is your baby.
Yeah.
She's loud.
This was a long time coming. Yeah, she's a bit loud. You want to try to pull this door open? There's a few fans.
Oh, is it the air being
It's a fan,
pulled in?
yeah. Don't let go of the door. Just smash me. Come on in. Every one of these things is like a 1,000-watt hair dryer. So there'll be 1,000 of those hair dryers in this pod. So that's quite a lot of heat. Go try it at home.
These fans are operating 24/7 to cool endless rows of computer servers, each one feverishly working to mine cryptocurrency. This is how digital currency is made. Every time someone uses cryptocurrency to pay for something, it sets off a flurry of activity. Servers like these work to verify and process that transaction, each one racing to authenticate the exchange of digital money through complex calculations. For doing this work, the machines are rewarded with new cryptocurrency. This is what's called mining.
So each of these small machines
roughly $1,500
worth of Bitcoin
every year.
Every year, yeah.
This entire wall is the future, according to you.
Future of money, right here.
Today, Dave's machines are essentially printing money. Like many locals here, he started with just a few small machines. But with the help of investors, he's scaled up significantly. He now runs Gigawatt, which continues to grow rapidly. He plans to have 22 of his pods completed by the end of the year. In Wenatchee, everyone is trying to make a buck from mining, from locals with a few machines in their basements to other large-scale facilities like Dave's.
How many of these fans do you need?
I think for this site we ordered over 600 of them. Now, these are industrial fans. They would be used in something like big chicken farms.
And now they're keeping Bitcoin mining machines cool.
Yeah.
Mining machines burn through transactions as fast as possible, so powering them and even cooling them down is half the game.
Now you see all the plugs, all the outlets. How much power does this facility use compared to like a typical building?
Well, so our pods use 1.5 megawatts. That's typically associated with like 600 homes.
So just this one facility is sucking up as much energy as 6 homes.
No, 600 homes. Right here in this space.
I mean, that's incredible when you think about it.
Believe, yeah.
600 houses, turn the lights on and off, the television, the fan, is as much energy as this wall right here.
Powering all of this would cost a fortune in most places, but Wenatchee has a competitive advantage. The Columbia River.
This is pretty incredible to see up close, and this is the exact reason so many crypto mining enthusiasts want to be here. Cheap hydroelectric power.
Steve Wright manages the public utility, which runs 2 dams on the Columbia River, providing cheap power to the county and beyond. This region provides power for much of the western U.S.
What we have seen more recently are industries like cryptocurrency that have come to the region for the same reasons that aluminum came here. Low cost, reliable electricity. We had a bunch of storage containers that people were trucking in on the back of trucks. They would set them up, they would have racks of computers inside of it, and they would ask, where are the jumper cables so I can hook up to the power system? We have requests for service that would double the usage here in the county. And we're trying to figure out, how are we going to deal with that and what the implications would be for the people who live here.
Because access to cheap power is key, miners are racing to set up shop anywhere in the world they can find low rates. Cold climates are also preferred to help reduce cooling costs. But the race for cheap power is not without problems. Andrew Wendell, customer service director for the utility, showed me why the concern is more than simply not having enough power.
So I can already hear the hum. Yeah. This is the Bitcoin mining operation underway.
Yeah. So a miner, if they had the energy source, could literally set up anywhere in town. Would you want to live next to one of these?
Yeah, it's an eyesore.
It
looks more like something out of the Mad Max movie.
Yeah.
Than...
Not just the aesthetics, but also the noise. There's a lot of noise. They really do belong in an industrial setting.
This has been popping up all over town.
This is popping up, and it gives us a bit of a concern because quite literally, you could have a tractor trailer come in and load this thing up and move it out literally overnight. And so it just begs the question from a utility who's providing and building the infrastructure to support these, how long is our investment? When we build those, we're building them for 40, 50, 60 years. This doesn't look like that long term.
Not only is Andrew worried about miners abandoning Wenatchee and leaving behind expensive new power connections, but some mining setups also test the very limits of that infrastructure.
But put your hand on the back here and feel how hot that is. You
can't keep your hand on
You're
there.
not going to keep your hand up. What we have here is a standard residential home, but this shed, about 10 by 10 here, off to the side with the vents, that's full of cryptocurrency mining operation. So this cable and the transformers that was feeding the operation was seeing a very high load factor.
And this is the actual cable that
This
was
is
underground?
the actual cable, right.
This plastic insulation breaks down because there's so much heat.
There's so much heat. It can't dissipate the heat, so the insulation breaks down, and then the cables go phase to phase, and when they go phase to phase, they combust, they arc, and they can start a fire. And that's what happened in this handhole here, is a fire started. The bottom line is that when you mix the cryptocurrency mining with traditional residential load, if you don't have things built and designed appropriately, you're going to have some problems. In this part of the country, wildfire can spread and burn, literally hundreds of homes. And so, we take that very, very seriously.
While some in Wenatchee are excited by the economic potential of cryptocurrency mining, concern over its massive power consumption and other risks is making many uneasy.
It just seems like it came out of nowhere, like there's a lack of understanding about it.
But maybe they just don't like the change, because they like to keep this town small.
My wife's in the technology space, and as much as she talks about it, it's still a mystery to me.
Nobody wants a fire, like their apartment complex burning down because someone's mining Bitcoin.
Right. It's just going to drain our power, and that's really all I know.
Right.
I think it's just people complaining and not actually understanding what they're complaining about.
Right.
Like a lot of families who've been here forever who are now maybe feel like they're being taken advantage of.
Facing overwhelming demand for power from cryptocurrency miners and increasing concern from the community, the utility placed a moratorium on all new mining requests until they could agree on a solution. Local miners were not happy.
They went overboard with their moratorium. It was kind of crazy for them to say, no, you can't do that. We're shutting everything down in the entire county.
Matt McComb, a local insurance salesman, was setting up a few machines in his office, hoping to generate some extra money for his 12-year-old son's college fund. But then, the moratorium hit.
So Matt, what are those boxes behind you?
The boxes behind me. Those are a couple miners I got left that we were going to hook up here in Wenatchee. That's actually the power unit.
Right, okay. Now these aren't cheap.
That one's actually dropped down in pricing since I got it back in March. You get them about $600 now.
And how did you get this one?
That one's actually right off Amazon. What you've got is several large players that kind of salted the earth for everyone else. They are literally consuming large sections of our town and edging out the small ones.
Frustrated by the moratorium, Matt plans to move his mining machines a few hours south to Oregon.
And so we're probably in 2 weeks, we're going to go down there and set up the machines down there and fire them up. It's kind of rough because it's like, I'd rather develop here locally, paying the rent to my landlord here, and put the money here in Wenatchee. We'll do that in Oregon.
In August, the utility held a public hearing for input on the moratorium and the future of mining in Wenatchee.
We're here to listen. This is a public hearing. Remember to keep your comments just to 3 minutes. Be courteous, let others have an opportunity at the microphone. So with that, I'd like to open it up to public comment.
And read a lot about what Bitcoin operators want and what Bitcoin is doing for them. I'm not hearing that it's doing anything much for us. This is a take, not a give.
Today that Starbucks is going to start accepting Bitcoin for coffee. Could provide jobs for people right here.
Ask you guys to consider the very small operations that are existing here in town. A large rate increase would drastically affect our business, putting some of us out.
All these people are wanting more energy, more electricity, and they are piggybacking on precious water,
Cryptocurrency is very controversial. Obviously, that's why we're all here. Here's a way they can create an additional income for their family right here in Wenatchee, right in the valley. And that is huge.
This won't be the last time you talk about cryptocurrency. Let's maximize opportunity for economic development. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you all for coming today. We appreciate it.
And I do understand that this is not a energy efficient business. It's not necessarily sustainable. However, we are. Excuse me?
You have a gift for understatement.
I was standing over here so that I could hear some of the things that may be gaps of knowledge that we could perhaps fill.
I love my gaps of knowledge. There's only just so much room.
Much of the concern about cryptocurrency mining is its volatility. With prices soaring one day and crashing the next, many worry the entire market could collapse.
Follow me this way.
But advocates say they are missing the big picture, a growing industry that's much larger than cryptocurrency mining.
You will very quickly learn more about, over the next coming months and years, AI technology that will be running on the same kinds of servers.
Malachi Salcedo, another large-scale miner, says the rise of supercomputing needed to power things like artificial intelligence requires specialized hardware and cheap power, just like mining.
And so it helps you to understand why in the world would you build a 30, 40-year asset for something that's only 9 years old. I built it for a new technology that will have many current and future iterations that we don't yet fully understand.
Our infrastructure play has land and power that's very valuable for multiple uses, even if crypto blows up and becomes nothing.
How hard is it to tell that to the elderly farmers up and down the
river? Difficult.
You're gambling and you're banking on the best case scenario.
If there was no downside risk protection, I would agree I'd be gambling. But the demand internationally for power and networking, for computing space, it's rising so rapidly that I'm very comfortable there will be demand for our locations, even if crypto doesn't become the market it could.
As a Wenatchee native, Malachi wants to see his town benefit from this new industry. But for now, he must expand elsewhere.
Our strategic goal is 500 megawatts within the next 5 years and 5 to 10% of the global network. We are currently negotiating developments in northern Idaho, northern Oregon, and northern central California. Our choice is whether or not to happen here.
Moratoriums may stem the flood of miners arriving in places like Wenatchee, but it won't stop them from finding cheap power elsewhere. In June, a cryptocurrency mining company called CoinMint took over a massive former Alcoa plant near the small town of Messina in upstate New York.
CoinMint took over this old aluminum smelting facility a few years ago and is now investing $700 million to make it a Bitcoin mining behemoth. You can see these machines newly unwrapped from China. The vision, once complete, is to have 6 rooms this size full of those Bitcoin mining machines, all of them humming, which would make this the world's largest Bitcoin mining operation.
Cryptocurrency justified the expense to build something that no one would otherwise build. And anytime we need to, we can switch them to another application of computing, to do supercomputing, and charge that as a service and then switch back. That's where we're headed, to be able to deliver services using all this compute. Supercomputing, AI, can be the new export. And this area can be the new Silicon Valley of supercomputing, AI, if they want it to be. And there are people in this valley who desperately don't want that to go away, and there are people in this valley who don't care.
So you're confident that you will grow, you're just concerned that it will be elsewhere because Wenatchee blinked at a critical moment.